Hey guys, it's Tony here at Gamefreakblog again, just bringing you another video. What I'm doing this time is something a bit new for Gamefreakblog, for my YouTube channel. Usually all of my reviews are kind of like text reviews that I stick up on the blog, but this time I've just decided to try my hands at a video review and just see how that goes. So as you can probably tell, we're going to be reviewing 007 Bloodstone. It was released in November of last year. It was pretty much the swan song for Bizarre Creations. It was the last kind of major game that they were really involved with. Now, you like me, I mean, I've only just kind of found this game. You may have missed out on this game before. It was when it was released. Obviously, at that time of year, it's the big build-up for Christmas. So you've got, you know, all the Call of Duties and everything like that were coming out at the time, and it probably just got overlooked. You know, you probably saw it on the shelf, thought, it's Bond, but I'm going to be spending my money on something else instead. So I've picked it up just recently. I've been playing it pretty much non-stop for the past few days. I did a bit about it on the Thumb Culture podcast, which should be hopefully coming up tomorrow, I think, on the Thumb Culture site. So you can just, check out that Thumb Culture podcast as well and see what I thought of the game. But I just wanted to kind of like talk you through it. Now, I'm sure you've all played a James Bond game at some point. You know, of course, the biggest iconic James Bond game that there is out there was GoldenEye on the N64. You know, it was absolutely huge at the time. You could argue that it kind of like, redefined the first-person shooter for the console. It made it really accessible. It had some fantastic multiplayer modes, etc, and that was kind of followed up by another few games. I think the best at the time was The World Is Not Enough. It was kind of the sequel that came out on the N64, which was made by Eurocom, and I actually really enjoyed that game. It wasn't quite as good as GoldenEye, but it was like up there. And the Bond games have had like a mixed bag throughout the years. They had the Quantum of Solace one that was made by Treyarch, and the first-person shooter one, which had some great online modes, and I kind of enjoyed the game. But what this game is, it's more of a kind of third-person action shooter. So I don't really like using cheap comparisons like this, but if you think Gears of Bond, then you're somewhere kind of near to the mark. It's a cover-based kind of like shooter. And it's really good because it actually includes all the likenesses of Daniel Craig and Judi Dench, as you can see here, where she's actually being played by a haunted ventriloquist dummy, and Saddam Hussein here as well. It's kind of good of him to show up. And essentially the game's plot revolves around some kind of terrorist biological threat or something like this. The intro of the game here, this is the very first starting point. It's taking place at a G20 summit where all of the world leaders are kind of gathered to talk about how they're going to fuck the world over a little bit more, and there's some intel that's come in that someone may be trying to kind of like disrupt this, and so Bond's on his way. Here we go, here's the introduction. Woohoo! Now, I actually think you might want to open your parachute there, dude. You're looking quite a bit, no, what? Oh, thank goodness for that. And take this with you. So this is the very start of the game, guys. So as you can see, we're in the cover. So all you essentially do is snap your A button. The A button snaps you into cover. You can move your stick left and right. You can walk up and down. And if you hold down your A button while you move up to a corner, you'll actually squeeze yourself. You'll keep pinned into cover while you rotate yourself around. You can also hit the B button to kind of vault over the cover as well. It's your usual kind of setup. You've got your left trigger for drawing your weapon, your right trigger for shooting, your right bumper is for reloading. You've got an X button as well, which if you're in cover and there's someone near you, or by all means if you're standing next to someone, it will do kind of like a takedown attack. Now there's two different types of takedown. There's just a normal takedown where you'll get someone, smash them in the face, knee them in the head, break their arm or something like this, which is fairly loud, so it can alert people that are next to you. If there's someone like kind of close to you, it will alert them. And we're also just going to see here, this is a demonstration of the silent takedown. So the silent takedown basically means you essentially make no noise. Just kind of like that. As soon as you get a successful takedown, as you can see, you get kind of like a bullet that's kind of filled up on the left hand screen, and what that enables you to do is a kind of headshot move. Now, essentially, all that they've really done is ripped it off from Splinter Cell Conviction. There you go. It's just a quick hold of your left bumper, and that will lock you into the target. Quick hit of your fire button, you'll take them down. You can string that up into multiple takedowns as well. So you can kind of like, I think it's up to 3 enemies. You can, if you're really, really quick, you can tag and take them all out. So this is the guy that we've been chasing here.
It's over. 1 man against 40. I don't think so. Gods! Deal with him.
I said deal with him, not shoot him. So there you go. Have some of that. Have some of that. So it's quite nice and satisfying, the kind of combat. I really like the running in, doing the takedowns like this. If you're quick enough and you can get in without taking any damage, it's really, really good. There's all little bits like this helicopter thing here that you've just got to kind of dodge. But if you stay in cover, it's pretty much, you know, you're pretty much safe. There are some kind of parts of cover that are destructible later on, but it's nothing that really kind of puts you in any kind of danger, really. As long as you're kind of locked into the cover, you're more or less safe. Quick, aim for his steely blue eyes. So one thing about this, Daniel, the character model of his face is actually great, but even when he talks, his mouth doesn't move at all. It's almost like a Daniel Craig waxwork that we've got going on in there. But, you know, it's good that he gave his likeness to the game. It's got his voice and everything like this. So straight away, look, we're in the speedboat chase. So, you know, you blaze through that. I think I cut this speedboat chase down a little bit. It does go on for a few minutes, but I've just kind of stuck it in here just to give you an instinct of what the kind of game kind of chucks at you at points. And I just love this music here. Just listen. It's Bond 101. Eat that. I like those kind of. Oh, nice, nice. So we pursue our quarry, we carry on, we end up scrapping the boat, we land here, we've got to kind of keep up with the chase. So we're just chasing him through this silent bit now. So as you can see, you get 2 different weapons. You can pick up weapons from falling enemies. You've only got a 2-count weapon. I mean, it can be all sorts. There's loads of different submachine guns, rifles, different pistols. I think there's some rocket launchers at some point. I can't actually remember if I don't know if I'm just actually making that up or whatever now. Click down your left stick to run, as you kind of see here. Start to peg it across this bridge, and it can be really good when you're running through levels and everything like this. And you can just like here, I think I take a bit of damage here, but you can just run up, have some of that, quickly pull out your. See, as soon as you start racking these up and getting them through the levels, it is intensely satisfying. So here we go. Have we found our guy? Oh! Go on, James. Fuck him up.
Where's the bomb, Greco?
You the bomb, James.
Last chance. Where is it?
You're up your ass.
You're too late.
I think not. And then straight away, guys, we're into the pursuit mode of the bomb. Now, the driving sections in this game, they're pretty good. They're very, very reminiscent of Burnout. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they've just nicked a part of the Burnout engine or something like this. Really, really fast, really, really visually impressive. The handling can be a little bit of an issue at times. Once you're on a kind of straight like this, the handling's pretty cool, but if you're taking a corner and all of a sudden you get a bit of a nudge, the kind of back end starts to swing around, and it's really kind of hard to try and get it back into control. As you can see here, look, it's just whoa, all over the bloody place. There are several different chase scenes, and you go in several different vehicles and things like this, so it does kind of break it up a little bit. There's a bit of a learning curve to them, but you know, I'll touch on that again later on. So as you can see here, the Bond girl in this thing is Joss Stone when she's not trying to be terrorised and hacked up and put into little body bags or whatever. She kind of, I mean, just listen to the dialogue. It's a little bit kind of clunky. It's a little bit kind of.
So what can you tell me about Pomerov?
Oh, he's such a lech. But he's kind of sweet for your basic Russian oligarch. He owns
Really?
the diamond mines. There's
But it's not just shooting, you know. Don't get it wrong. Don't think it's just pure action. This is one of my favourite levels. This is, and basically what she's kind of like done. She's gone in to kind of get some information off this guy, and you've got to use your phone to kind of track her. Now your phone kind of, your mobile phone kind of gives like a sense here. I think you see it clicking. If you click down on your D-pad, it activates this kind of phone mode, which highlights things of interest, be that collectibles that you can pick up, secret documents. You've seen me scan this statue here, and it just gives you get an achievement for finding like everything in a level and stuff like this. But more importantly, it can highlight where the bad guys are in a level. So what it kind of really gets you into the habit of doing is, once you enter an area and you may go into cover, is checking out the paths that the enemies are taking, because they do take pre-prescribed routes in the game. Clunk. They take pre-prescribed routes, so it's really good just to kind of work out what route that they're taking, so you can go up and plan your executions and your sneak modes and everything like that a lot better. You kind of see it highlighted here as I'm making my way through these castle grounds. You've essentially, as I say, you've got to get through to a meeting point where you can meet up with Joss Stone again. And you've got to try and make your way unseen through this thing. So it's very... take that. It's very kind of... it can be quite tense. You know, you've got to try and make your way through without being spotted at all. And there's some kind of tricky level. Sometimes you will get spotted, but if you run up and do a quick takedown on them, you know, it kind of stops you from being discovered.
There's always some drunk tourist who tries to sneak in here. Yes, sir.
No, I'm going to kill you. Go on, push him over the edge. Push him over the edge. So if you can see there, where the red dots with the guns, it tells you what weapons the guys have got, what routes that they're going on. It's quite a nice little system. Oh, good lord! It's fairly basic, but you know, it's pretty much suited down to the game. I mean, the only kind of negative points that I'd really have to the game is, as with most EA titles, it's not this bit isn't a negative point. I mean, the production values are absolutely sky high. The graphics are really great. The sound effects and you know, they've got the proper actors to do the voices of the characters. It's all screams authenticity. Oh, good lord, that knee is killer. I love that one. It's really authentic, but it's extremely linear. You don't get a lot of chances to play around in the levels. It's nowhere near like as kind of complex as Splinter Cell, if you like. There's usually just one set route through the level, and that's all you've got. You do come across little things here like this spy camera, so you'll activate your mobile phone, push up on the D-pad, and you get this rotating thing. It's a bit like a rhythm event. If you hit the buttons at the right time, you'll deactivate the camera. And in later levels, they do get a lot more complex. This is another one of the chase scenes which I absolutely love. This is in downtown Bangkok, where you're chasing this huge kind of tractor that's basically escaped from a construction site. Someone that you're chasing has got in this, and it was just thrilling to play. My only real beef with the kind of driving levels is, as you see here, you'll kind of drive and it'll chuck some kind of obstruction in your way. Now, as soon as you do, you get a choice. You know, it will send you left. So it will send you left, you'll get back onto the path, it will send another thing in your way, and then you'll need to go to the right-hand side. It's very linear, and there's an ice level in it, which is extremely hard to... It's literally just trial and error. You're zipping over the ice in your car, and it's literally, do I take a left, do I take a right? If you manage to get it right, you continue with the level. If you manage to get it wrong, you've got to start all over again, and it is just a little bit of a memory test, which, you know, can be a little bit frustrating, I guess. I didn't really mind it, but it kind of takes the kind of takes the skill out of it, if you like. It's not down to you completing the level because you're really, really skillful at the game. It's just you completing it because it's a real kind of like trial and error type thing. Now the game, it's got some great environments. It does go all over the world. It goes from Bangkok to bloody all over the place. The environments are really good, but as you can see, they look great, but they're not exactly kind of like complex. You've got a few ways of going about the level, and that's pretty much it. It's not that short. I mean, I probably went through the whole thing in about 6 hours, I reckon. Maybe 6 or 7 hours. There are multiplayer modes on it as well. Apparently it's anything up to 16-player multiplayer. I really wanted to include some of the multiplayer modes in this review, but I'm probably going to have to put them in later because I went on to try to get into the multiplayer game the other day. Couldn't get on because just no one's playing it. So by all means, if you have the game, you want to give me a hand on going through and checking out the multiplayer, please just drop your gamer tag in the comment section. That would be absolutely fantastic of you. So on the whole, I mean, I can't say it's the best Bond game that I've ever played in my life, but it's very, very enjoyable. I enjoyed every single moment of playing it. There are some real good difficult levels, some really well thought out levels in the game. The storyline's a little bit shit, but hey, you play this kind of game more for the kind of action and the set pieces, which this delivers in spades. There are several car chases, and all of that stuff that you saw within the first minute, the first bit on the boat, jumping into the boat and chasing them on the speedboat, coming out and chasing them through that hotel and jumping into the car. That's the very first level. You do all of that in the first level, and I must admit, after completing all that in the first level, I was kind of blown away. I was like, right, I'm in the mood for this. So guys, I'm going to kind of chew it up. I kind of hesitate to give games like a kind of score review, but seeing as how that, a point score or whatever, but since how that's the kind of established way of doing it, I'm going to go ahead. So I'd probably say, if you haven't played 007 Bloodstone and you like the Bond games, you like third-person shooters, go and check it out. It's really enjoyable. You can pick it up on the cheap now. I think I picked it up in the 2 for £20 deal at GameStation, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a solid 7 out of 10 game. So guys, if you've enjoyed this review, please just leave me a comment, let me know what you think. This is Tony from Gamefreakblog, signing out.